Hello viewers. Well, we've looked at our interview with Ben Payne, Director of Esports at McLaren in our first video, looking at the F1 Esports as far as the build-up's concerned. Next, I wanted to catch up with the Communications Manager for the Racing Point Force India team to find out a little bit about their ideas behind how they saw their possible progress in the championship and where they were going with esports. Now esports is sort of influencing the Formula One team and vice versa. Let's see what he had to say. Okay, viewers, so now I'm joined by Will Ponissi of Force India. Will, thanks for your time today. F1 Esports, it's grown over the past year. What's been your experience of F1 Esports and how it's grown?
Well, for us it's been a very positive experience. It's something that internally we've pushed on for a very long time. We've always wanted to be involved in esports in some way, and obviously to have the backing of Formula One in an official series is something that made a huge difference for us. So we wanted to be involved from day one. We were lucky to have some partners coming in and helping us in running the team. So for us it's been a journey of learning. Obviously it's the first time we do something to this scale, but it's been a positive experience, and obviously we're really keen to start and see where we stack up against the opposition.
Absolutely. I mean, you've taken on your drivers. What did you look for when selecting your drivers in the pro draft?
Well, it was just more than speed. We knew that everybody in the pro draft was effectively a very quick driver, so we looked at something different. First of all, is the ability of working as a team. Ever since then, even before with the two drivers that we had already selected and Fabrizio from the pro draft, we've been working every day together, sharing setups, working together online, offline as well. And so the ability to work together as part of a team was crucial. And obviously we wanted also somebody who fit the Force India brand and the Force India style. You know, we've got a very peculiar image also in the world of Formula One, with a team that obviously plays hard. We're a serious team, professional, but we like to have fun also in the way we do things. And obviously personalities that match that style were an important part of the selection process.
Absolutely. I mean, this year obviously a lot of changes within the team, and obviously a change of management as well. You've had the points as well. The team scored incredible points since the halfway point in the championship, already up to 6th place, staring down 5th or even 4th if possible. But for the esports drivers, do they get any interaction with the team? Have they had a tour of the factory? Have they met the drivers? Esteban's supposed to be a bit of a racer himself.
Well, yeah, they had a lot of interaction. Obviously, the two drivers that were selected before the pro draft came to the factory a few times. They were with us the whole of the British Grand Prix weekend, and they had a chance also to actually play games with Esteban and Checo. Esteban's really into sim racing. Yeah. Checo's more of a FIFA guy. Yeah. But they were able to interact. They actually found out they had a lot more in common they originally thought they had. And the drivers themselves, they were genuinely interested in the esports program, because for them, especially for Esteban, who's been growing up playing games, the idea of an official F1 series was something that really intrigued them. But yeah, they interacted with our simulator vehicle science guys. They met the race engineers, they met our nutritionists, so they were an integral part of our team, and they've been working with us basically as members of the team since they were announced. Yeah, because so when you're picking these drivers, you're looking at people who are team players. They're not just fast drivers. They can integrate well into the team. They can learn. Physically, they develop. Mentally, they develop in terms of PR, interviews. I mean, this is a standard thing for them. But looking forward to the races, you've developed your drivers, you've built your team, you've pushed them over the past few months in terms of training, making sure they're quick. What are your thoughts for Force India and how you're going to get on at the F1 Esports? I think we're going to be competitive. It's difficult to tell you in advance, we're going to be first, second, because the field out there, we've seen the drivers, we've recognized a lot of the names. The sim racing scene is, it's a fairly small one in a sense, so who the great drivers are. So, and a lot of them are competing in this series, so we know it's going to be difficult, it's going to be very competitive. and it's going to be decided by the smallest margins. So we think we're going to be very competitive. We've done all the hard work, and now we literally can't wait to be on track and see where we really are compared with our rivals.
Well, it's certainly going to be very competitive. A quick question just about, I guess, what's Force India learned most about this process so far? Is there anything as a company you've learned about this F1 Esports? I think video games are new to Formula One teams. This is something that wouldn't have been considered 5 or 6 years ago. I mean, it would have been unheard of 10 years ago. We're in new territory now. What would you say Force India's learned? You've learned?
It's been a different experience for a lot of different people. I've personally been involved in sim racing for about 20 years now, so I've got a lot of experience. I've been running leagues. I've been interacting with a lot of the drivers that are competing over the years. But for a lot of the other people in the team, has been a learning experience, as I was saying earlier. And I think one of the takeaways is that the world of sim racing and esports is a much more professional and complex world than a lot of people tend to imagine. It's not about playing games. It's not about just jumping in the car, jumping in a rig and doing a couple of laps for fun. The amount of work, the amount of preparation that is behind that and is comparable to the amount of work that you do on a race weekend in Formula One. And in terms of the market that is opening up, it's an incredibly interesting market for a Formula One team, because as you were mentioning earlier, it opens it up to a completely new audience, a completely different set of potential partners as well. So a lot of people have been taking note of what we've been doing also within the team, and I think the program is just going to grow and grow year after year.
Well, it's a very exciting few days ahead. Best of luck for your team, and I'll be seeing how they get on the other side.
Well, fantastic. Thanks.
Thank you. So great feedback from Will there in terms of the feedback in the team. Just again here, it's very much a learning conversation in terms of we didn't know when this was recorded before the esports events how it was going to go. Force India have certainly got a couple of good drivers there. They're very unlucky in the Silverstone race to gain that issue in speeding on the entry to the pit lane, and that effectively cost them victory there, but they certainly have a lot of talent and a lot to build on. It's very close, but it really is qualifying that's been, again, letting down both McLaren in the previous video and Force India in this one, and we look to see how they're going to do in the final 4 races. But that's it from me for now in this video. Next video coming up, we're going to have a chat with the man himself, Brendan Lee, to see how he was preparing for this year's F1 Esports. But that's it from me for now. As ever, more soon.